Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was some disaster. I just got done reacting to it, and now we're learning maybe even a crazier thing with what happened. Kamala Harris's campaign, the managers getting angry and requesting to quickly end the interview because I'm guessing they thought it was going very badly for Kamala Harris. But of course, this was an interview. If they had their choice, they probably would say, don't air this at all. But this is Fox News. They said they were doing it. And Brett Baer, I thought, was very, very good. People came at him. They criticized him. They said he was going to be soft. That first immigration question, she's just totally clueless. And I'm going to explain the entire dynamic and breakdown behind the immigration problem for the Democrats. But we've got this, holy smokes. Brett Baer just called out Kamala's campaign for pulling last-minute stunts to shorten the interview and delay its airtime. Quote, we were supposed to start at 5. We were going to do a 30. We were going to do around 25 to 30 minutes. They said maybe 20. She came in at 5:15, so they were going to start it at 5 o'clock, and it ended up starting at 5:15, so it started a little bit late, and it was only 26 minutes in total. You can see the Trump campaign saying our newest ad just dropped, and obviously throughout this interview, the first question, Fox, they immediately hit her on immigration because it is such a losing topic for Democrats. The Democrats' argument on the border is that they're talking about the border bill. That was because of their own mess up. So their argument is them trying to fix their own mess up. And what I mean by that is you've even got Kamala Harris in this interview referencing the executive orders that Biden put in 2021 that completely demolished all of Trump's border policy that was deemed at the time racist. The Democratic viewpoint was that because the border was very secure. If you look at any of the charts, we remember the Trump chart that he loves so much. The illegal immigration was at the lowest, and some of that was due to the pandemic, but also some of that was due to the wall and Trump investing in border policy. He ran on that in 2016. Remember, they said he was racist for building a wall, but the dynamic of them stripping away all of that in 2021 with 90 executive orders from Biden, which he references in this interview, Brett Baer does, and it's just crazy that it's almost like they're speaking different languages because you have Kamala Harris talking about the border bill that she says that Trump shut down because apparently Trump wants the border to be bad because it would help him. Why was the border bad in the first place? Why did you need that border bill in the first place? Because of your and Biden's terrible leadership and all of the executive orders that stripped away what Trump had in place in 2021 because that was deemed racist. Like you can't have that strong of a border. The border wall needs to go. They wanted the border wall to be removed because they said it was racist and that's not America. We're going to open everything up. People should be let in. It's, the dreamers and everything like that. And of course, what they really want is they want the illegals to flood in. They want to make them citizens and then they vote Democrat 70% of the time. And then they always win the popular vote and say, see, look, Democratic Party is so popular. Well, yeah, because if you understood the context of immigration, no wonder. But either way, it's just a train wreck on it. They have no actual argument. We're talking in different languages because she just won't admit, like she talks about the border bill. Number one, the border bill was so ridiculous. And they referenced the fact that 6 Democrats voted against the bill, but it's a border bill. What border bill involves $60 billion for Ukraine and $14 billion for Israel? It's foreign aid, so it's $70 billion in foreign aid. That was part of this bill that was going to strengthen our border. It just makes absolutely no sense. So, I mean, the immigration stuff, it's such a train wreck. Honestly, I mean, if I was Harris, I don't even, because of how badly they've botched the border, and this is why they're down 15 points in immigration, and this is why they have to do this fake, we care about the border now. Don't worry, guys. In 2021, when we took everything out, that was just they don't even reference it, actually. They won't even talk about the executive orders that Biden put in place day one, which liberals celebrated. And they said, well, Trump had all these disgusting, it's all racist because he's not letting people into the country because he hates immigrants. That was the narrative. And then we see now you've got independent, middle-class white people from the Rust Belt who they need to vote Democrat. They're trying to kiss their ass and they're trying to say, now we're going to strengthen the border. We're going to secure it. And Trump's really the big bad guy who doesn't want to secure the border because he didn't want the border bill passed, which in their eyes would have made the border less of a topic. When in reality, why was the border bill needed in the first place? Trump gave you a border that had record low immigration numbers. So that's my talking point when it comes to the immigration and just, what was happening there. But you've also got, I believe that might be it. Here it is. Brett Baer saying Kamala Harris's staff was frantically waving their hands, requesting the interview to end. Oh my God. So they were like, end it. And he even said at the end of the interview, he was like, whoa, we got to, they're cutting me off basically. Cause she was even talking a little bit longer. And he basically said, they're selling me no, no, no. So, I don't know how long the interview was supposed to be, but apparently she showed up late. And that immigration question, also the question just about how is it going to be different? Like turn the page. It's almost like the joke, like you're turning the page, but all the pages are blank. Like turn the page to what? This is your administration. They've got her on video multiple times. And then I'm going to go through some clips here. Another thing, she was not happy during this interview. You could tell. And the thing is with this, if you're a good politician and you're running a campaign of joy, even when you go into opposing territory like Fox News, there's a way to kind of maneuver an interview like this. Because it's not like they're going to try and do a total I gotcha. There's a way you can try and manipulate an interview. It's very clear she just doesn't have the knack for doing it. And she was just very uncomfortable. And she couldn't even do the fake joy type thing. She got very angry. You could tell it was like her fighting. She was just like, her alert system was like ratcheted up and she couldn't embrace the challenge of going on Fox News. It was just constant, like I got to defend myself. There was no like embracing it and trying to turn it. It was just constant. Like there's a way to do that and you can tell she just can't do it. But let's see what this is.
People are frankly exhausted of Brett.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they?
And by the way, the studies show that if it's like 21% right track, you don't win re-election. The incumbent party doesn't win re-election, which would be Harris and the Democrats. It needs to be at like 35 to 38. So they're way low on that number.
Saying that if you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what
And Don, what kind of an answer is that? That was what people were talking about.
You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about.
She's talking about the divisive rhetoric, but
is that over the last decade,
but
people
you're the
have
lever
become.
of power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly.
And Donald Trump has been running for office, but you've been the person holding the. It's just such a horrible. And then this was the immigration policy. Let's hear what she has to say here.
Voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration?
It's such a brutal question because she's not going to answer that.
Has released into the country over the last 3.5 years.
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion.
They have to admit it's a huge issue
that people want to rightly have, and you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you
now,
just a number? Do you think it's 1 million, 3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point.
Okay,
the point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have an immigration.
Yeah, their immigration system got broken by Biden's executive orders in 2021. But then they say, no, this has been going on forever. Well, take a look at the illegal immigration graph. Why is it 5 times more now than it was in 2020? But then they say, oh, it's been broken for decades.
Estimate of 6 million people.
Immigration's never going to be perfect, but it was certainly way better under Trump. But they're doing this broad thing. They're like, oh, it was broken under Trump. It was broken under Obama. It's been broken for decades. They have to do that to try and shift it from what we've seen with how bad the illegal immigration has gotten recently. Trump compared to Biden.
Been released into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question. I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And
she wasn't answering anything. That's why he had to stop her because she wouldn't. He tried asking a question. He knew he wasn't going to answer it. How many illegals are there actually in the country? Imagine she answered that.
When you came into office, your administration immediately reversed a number of Trump border policies.
There it is.
Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath,
This is how dumb she is. Listen to this.
the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before
The first bill was to make it easier for illegals to get into the country. She's right. She is right on
the
this.
Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called
And-
the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the
finish?
yes.
Dark Brett.
May I finish responding,
But
please?
here- but this-
you have to let me finish.
You
please.
had
Dark
the White
Brett.
House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and
in
they
the
didn't
middle
bring up
of
that bill.
responding to the point you're raising.
Okay.
The reason he cuts her off is because she's not going to answer it. So they try and move it along and get her to answer something. So that's why, people say, well, it's annoying he cuts her off. You have to try and get her to answer something. They're going to do the political stuff, and he's ready for the political jargon and, the non-answers, but you have to try and pry it, and so they start tussling, But listen, it is what it is. The immigration issue, it would be better if they just owned it, but it's impossible. It's an impossible topic for Democrats to win. It's absolutely impossible based on what happened from 2016 to 2020, where Trump secured the border. He stopped a lot of the illegal immigration. He built the wall. They called the wall racist. They said, in 2020, their position was that Trump had done way too much, way overbearing. He was racist because he didn't want to let immigrants into the country. And then what they've done now is they've opened everything up with executive orders, 90 executive orders in 2021. First day Biden gets inaugurated, he gets into the White House, January 20th. It's 90 executive orders. It's getting rid of all of Trump's policies that they deemed racist, and it's putting in policies that make it a lot easier for illegals to enter the country. And some of those illegals committed very, very bad crimes, and she won't admit that that was probably a wrong thing to do because this is politics and it is what it is. But you see how she's trying to skirt around it. It is an impossible thing to do, but it would be better if she just owned up to it. But I guess that's not something that they want to do. I mean, this is clear strategy. She's being told what to say and how to react to these things. And this is, not surprising. This is what we thought she was going to do, but it is interesting to see her being questioned in a place that is, going to at least, 60 Minutes also did do it. 60 Minutes did a pretty good job, but this was a nice job by Brett Baer. Either way, guys, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you follow me on X. Link to that's always in the description.